A/B testing is probably one of the most underutilized parts of digital that we see. Agents are so used to dealing with things like print or direct mail, where you're really just choosing one version, right? Your best version that you think has the highest probability of succeeding, and going, okay, cool, that's what we put out into the market. With digital, we can A/B test. We can basically show multiple variations and figure out which one performs the strongest, and then show that one more often. The one that didn't perform as strong, for whatever reason, we're going to show a lot less often. It's this really great technique where A/B testing comes from the ability to take an A test and a B test, so like two different creatives where you change just one variable. So let's say you have the same ad, but two different headlines, and you show A half the time, B half the time, and figure out which one did better, which one did worse, and then being able to act on that data. We've taken it a step further where we can test up to 3 to 5 different creatives. So imagine you have an agent who isn't really sure about what kind of headline to use or photo to use. You can create all sorts of different versions in the same size and say, let's run it and figure out which one people engage with the most. That's the part that I really appreciate about it. To be honest, A/B testing is more work for my team. We should probably charge for it, but we don't because not enough agents do it. And to me, being able to get those insights about which ad did the best and trying to figure out why is such a critical part of trying to understand the audience, right? If we know they respond a lot better, the engagement rates are a lot higher when we say this type of stuff versus that type of stuff, why and how do we take that information and then put that back into all the other types of marketing that we do. So for example, imagine that you're trying to figure out how do we talk about the brand, what do people really find interesting about how we talk about ourselves. Once you figure out which one of those versions is the best, that should go into social, that should go into direct mail, that should go into print, because that's now the new way you talk about yourself. Because we basically had our little free focus group to figure out what type of content or what type of imagery was the most engaging to people. So really, to make this happen, all you need to do is when you request a campaign, you just give us multiple versions of the creative. Like we kind of do it, we automatically assume if you're going to give us 2 or 3 versions of any ad that you want us to test it. And so we'll launch it. Your reporting dashboard we'll kind of pick one to represent, hey, just want to remind you what your ads look like. But then at the end of the month, we'll come back and say, hey, we want to give you an actual readout on how each one of these ads did and the actual click-through rates of each one. And so sometimes what you'll see happen is that 2 ads will run. They'll be very similar. They'll kind of have the same click-through rate, which means they weren't sort of very different. Other times we'll have ads that run where one does like twice as better than the other one. And that's a real clear-cut case of like, this is a really, really strong engaging ad. This one not so much. Let's do more of that, less of that. But if you have any questions about A/B testing, we're here. Just ask us.